talk to her. This one doesn't do phone. What's that? Hey. We're talking about the new Google web app for a remote desktop. Looks like it's really good.
Oh yeah, it's working well.
Yeah, I've recommended that on Spiceworks a few times. What do you do for do that on my phone? It works
So it's
wonderfully.
scanning, looking for these patterns, and then sending it to the legal department.
Mhm.
On the phone, they're referring me, when I try to use the web app, they refer me to the Google app.
Mhm.
Download the Google app, so they haven't gone from that one.
For your phone, yeah, it's still an app, but it has been updated recently.
I just bought the
Here's an answer from Google.
Samsung Tab X6.
What is it?
It's a tablet
A tablet.
with a pen. The last one. It's great. It's fast.
My
It's Android.
yeah. My the first Android device I had was a Samsung Galaxy Tab 10, and that thing was wonderful. But then I got a hold of a pure Android device, and I realized how bad it was.
I am replacing the Galaxy Note 10 inches. It's a tablet with a pen also.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for something like that, and the last year, Samsung released the X6 with the pen also.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I had a Galaxy Tab 5, and the coolest thing on that was it had an IR remote built in. I haven't seen that on any tablet since. I thought that was a winner.
I've not seen that on a tablet. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this was.
My problem now is the
Did you train it to drive yours and stuff?
earphones. It doesn't have the
It's a-
audio.
It doesn't have a jack.
Yeah. And now there is only one port, C, for everything. Charging and everything is single hole. Now you need to buy everything for that.
If you do these little magnetic things, you can get one.
I did it.
Yeah.
Just yesterday I had from China.
Yep.
It's a round thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. It works. $2.50 the cable plus the.
And
Because I don't like to plug and unplug every day because it's not good for any connector.
yeah, my kid's phone is USB-C, and this is micro USB, whatever.
But
And
they sell
the
for all.
connector is the same.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so now
And you can use the same charger for everything.
Yep.
I will do
Yeah.
that for this. Good idea.
Yeah, she forced us, everybody. We're converted.
Damn.
Yeah, they're bad
It was Steve's fault. That's why
Yeah.
I bought that. I should have bought 2 or 3 of them, but I only bought the one.
Oh, I bought 10.
Yeah. I should have bought more.
I gave them to all my friends. Here, use this. Quit borrowing my cable and disappearing with it.
Now-
Keep your own.
Now, the only time I've ever I unplug that every now and then if I'm like in the car. I don't have one,
Mm-hmm.
so if I need to charge it in the car, that's why I should have bought
Yeah.
more than one.
Is it the same as this one? I've got a couple extra cables.
I think we looked. Nope,
Yeah.
not even close.
Yeah, that's the one problem with them. Yeah, that is different.
Not even close. No, if I have to order this again, I mean, if I have to order another one, I have to order the set because
Yeah.
they're not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I found when I went back to try to order it again. They were sold out of this that I had ordered,
Mm-hmm.
so I just couldn't order it again.
Yeah, you may still be able to find them. One of the ones that I've been looking at, I like, in that the cable goes sideways. It comes off to the left or to the
An
right
angle,
instead of
yeah.
And I may just buy 10 of those. Get rid of all of these because I'm sure they won't be the same.
One thing I've noticed is on the later model ones, the plug is on the bottom.
Mhm.
And Apple, that was a big deal with Apple one season. The phone connector was on the bottom. Well, to
Mhm.
me, that's a problem, because I use earphones and you gotta put the thing in upside down.
Yeah.
My headphone jack is on the top and my charger's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the way they used to be. The older Motorola's were that way. Makes sense.
I saw a blurb somewhere, they didn't think the next Apples were gonna have any ports.
See,
Yeah,
sometimes,
wireless charging.
Video or something.
Mhm. Yep.
Round. There are some that are like, how is the shape? Like
Oval. No, not technically oval, but
horse race trace. How you call this shape?
Oval?
Huh?
Oval?
Oval? No, but it's not oval because it's like rectangular with both.
we call it
Oblong.
oval.
Oval,
Yeah.
but oval usually is made like
Like-
I
ellipse.
know
ellipse.
technically it's parabolas, but
It's like an oblong.
yeah.
Well, but
It's
the
less
thing is,
pointy
this one
than a
is
football.
round. It's very tiny and round. It's worse. Nice. Yeah.
The end result I want is
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna 3D print a cradle for this thing that sits sideways. The reason I want the cable that goes sideways is so it can go down, and I want a cradle for this for my car.
It's hard to see without touching the screen. This is the.
I wouldn't mind one that.
Yeah, these
I
are
wouldn't
like
mind
that
one
too.
with
They're
batteries
magnetic.
for the car, and then you just plug it in.
Yeah.
So
My
Apple's been selling these earphone things.
Yeah, for $150 or something.
Is that what they were? 150? What's the deal?
That's for when you want people to think you have a cigarette stuck in your ear.
Okay.
It's so Patty was talking about this at Kroger's. So people walk around, or cashiers have them in their ears and they're listening to music while they're working, and she's like, they're not paying any attention. They're listening to the music. They're not paying any attention to anything else. So that's why they did it.
Well, you see people
So-
talking on the phone too with these things.
Yeah.
And you don't know who they're talking to.
The graphene people have headphones that look very similar to the Apple headphones,
Mm-hmm.
except they're graphene. They're supposed to be the cat's meow because the acoustical surface is graphene is very light
Yeah.
and very strong.
I have a set of Sony over-the-ear noise-canceling headphones, but I got those for when I'm in the DR. There are so many computers, if you spend more than 20 minutes in there, you will have a headache.
Disaster
Uh-huh.
recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I stick those things on going in, and it is amazing how quiet it gets. And I turn on the music, so I've got something to
Yeah,
remind me to not take them off.
They want money for that kind of stuff.
They were not inexpensive.
Don't buy them at the airport.
Oh yeah, and I have used them on an airplane. The thing I don't like about them is if I don't have them tied, if I don't turn on the Bluetooth on my phone, they turn off after like 5 minutes. If they're not hooked up to anything, they just okay, and then damn. So not a big deal. I mean, play my music collection for hours and days on a charge. But yeah, those were handy, and I got those, I don't know, a year and a half ago, I guess. And they've been worth having. Mm-hmm.
These are short because I will sleep in these, and they have to be short. Anything big like that,
Yeah.
I'll go to sleep listening to an audiobook.
Oh,
I wake up and put the audiobook back on, put me back to sleep.
My original Moto X phone from
A while ago.
at least 2 phones ago. I think it was 2 phones ago. It had wireless charging on it, and it was almost like ahead of its time because you couldn't find wireless chargers anywhere. And then Motorola sort of decided not to do that with these phones, and now they're coming back to everything needs to be wireless charged.
Yeah.
Apple decided to do it, and now Motorola's going, oh, wait. We'd done that once.
Yeah.
Like we used to have holders for our phones, and you plug the phone in the holder. What? All that went away. Man, I guess the Apple guys still do that, huh?
That wireless charging deal, if you could find, if you had the pad, you would throw it up on the pad, and it was wonderful. Had a little pad for the car, you just throw it up on the car, and it would charge while you're cruising down the road. It was one of the greatest ideas that was too far ahead of its time because, like, the next generation didn't have it.
It's odd which technologies catch on, and there is a timing element, a marketing element to it. It's not just tech.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Apple is best at. They come up with a feature and they'll introduce it and reintroduce it or steal somebody else's idea. Or
They
whatever.
will. They will see something that another company has failed at and go, we could do that, and make it better. I don't know how much better it is though.
Oh, we had a guy that's looking for somebody to work for him.
That's
I need
him.
circuit boards. I need somebody who can design serious circuit boards.
Oh, okay. That was you.
That's
Yeah,
me.
I knew that.
So,
If it's using 40-pin chips, I can do that.
Well, they might be ball grid.
That is out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Do you have size constraints? I mean, it has to be under this big or something, but
We've already got enclosures, so we're replacing existing circuit boards, and then you fit
Okay.
in the same enclosures.
okay. And your processor is only available as a VGA?
Processor's not selected at this point. We're gonna switch to a Linux module, and then just put the I/O on a daughter board.
Okay.
So I don't really care which processor it is.
Oh.
It's gonna be over 800 megahertz and 4 gigs. It's gonna exceed that, because that's what we're currently running.
Really?
Yes.
It's a little slow, but that's a lot of memory.
Big tables, lots of sensors,
Okay.
lots of recording, lots of. So we pulled that off the TI reference design 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the parts are obsolete. It's time to do a major.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I mean, you know, you find your
There's
niche, and if it's in the
400
obsolete land and they got money, you'd be right on it, Ted. If they got
Yeah.
money, Steve.
I'm still sitting on a bunch of Z80s if you need them. Probably got 50 or so 8085s. Those are great, Jim. They should come back.
It has come
What was
back
it?
in that PGA form.
Yeah.
CPU is based on one of those.
Who
They
would
just
be?
changed it though.
We don't have anyone that would be interested in that, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, there's 450
Find
names
this
on your
history
group.
to see
Over
on the
500.
screen.
Oh, is it over 500?
Yeah, like
Well, you'd
550.
think there'd
I'm
be
gonna-
some double A's floating around here that
Yeah.
retired, but okay.
I usually don't put stuff that personal up at that level because we don't have good control of it.
I don't.
Here. Those little coffees are good,
Yeah.
Vicente. They are good.
Yeah, where do you get these things?
Amazon.
Okay.
My wife brought some of them from the hair cutting place or something. I tried them. Oh, it's nice. I'm trying to figure out where they are,
Mhm.
and I found them in Amazon. But you need to buy 2 pounds of them.
Wow, that is
Sounds about right
incredible.
to us.
Yeah.
2 pounds, yeah.
We've had to build our own wireless protocol, our own wireless link between the contact lens and another wearable accessory, because we had to manage power and
And
data
you
and size
contact
of chip.
that
That
lens
accessory
with
connects to your mobile phone
24-hour
or the
battery
cloud to
Mhm.
access
that shows you
additional computing resources and
virtual
information.
reality on your eye.
Not happening. I can't even put in regular contacts. I'm sure as hell I'm going to do that with something with a lithium in it.
Now, if they made these into glasses, I would wear them.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
You already said that.
Heart rate data, speed, and even with your eyes shut, you will be able to see this because it's lit up and obviously the lens is sitting beneath your eyelid. It feels seriously sci-fi. And with your eyes shut, you will be able
No.
You can show it there. BBC
Let's see.
Tech
Let's see if we
BBC
can get.
technology contact lens or something like that.
Okay.
The thing that she's holding up next to her eye is a Doctor Who device.
Remind us to hide the cable again this week. Next week, we'll hide the cable so we can get the young lady to come down and assist us. We need assistance.
See if I can find it. It's serious. So it's serious sci-fi.
That's it. Uh-huh. Close the door.
It looks a little creepy, is what it looks like.
That's me all over.
In the video.
This technology is also be using for the swimming goggles to see your distance and your
The augmented reality.
heart rate or
Wow,
whatever you want.
that is incredible.
We've had to build our own wireless protocol, our own wireless link between the contact lens and another wearable accessory, because we had to manage power and data and size of chip, and that accessory connects to your mobile phone or the cloud to access additional computing resources and information.
Seems like an awful big contact lens.
It'll get smaller.
Wow,
Sometime.
that is incredible. Heart rate data, speed, and even with your eyes shut, you will be able to see this because it's lit up and obviously the lens is sitting beneath your eyelid. It feels seriously sci-fi.
It's a contact lens. You put it in your eye in the morning and you take it out at night. And we try to provide value to you throughout the day. When you take it out at night, you put it into a cleaning case that also charges the batteries. It's very comfortable. It fits to your eye. It corrects your vision when you wear it. So if you have a prescription, we build the prescription into the lens.
This is the evolution.
Wow.
Most of the guts is on the outside, on the periphery.
All right.
This is the
Here's the
other.
latest object to go smart, a pair of augmented reality swimming goggles.
I'd wear those.
I'm wearing
I don't even
swim
swim.
goggles, and this built-in computer can track how far I swim, how long it takes me, and beams that information straight into my eye. It's not Google Glass, it's Goggle Glass. This is what it looks like when you swim, all the stats floating in front of you. It can even estimate how many calories you've burned. It has a built-in accelerometer to detect when you turn, and of course there's an app to log your swim history. Now the idea is you can shave those all-important seconds off your time if you're not having to stop and look at your smartwatch or glance up at a clock on the wall. But I wonder, where are the games? I find swimming lengths can get a bit boring, and being chased by a virtual shark might spice things up a bit. That's something British company Swim AR is thinking about. They're working on a similar device that can clip onto any pair of goggles. This 3D printed prototype is a little bit rough around the edges, but it can already display swim stats just like the Form goggles, and now the company is thinking about gamifying swimming, either by having you swim against a competing avatar, or through hoops, or even being chased by a virtual shark. Now, if either company can bring out a version with podcasts or music built in, the prospect starts to look very appealing indeed. But will swimmers want to charge their goggles before a swim, and will the size of these devices affect performance?
They don't slow you down. There's obviously a little computer there on one side of the goggles. You can wear them on the right side or left side, but it's something you get used to after just a few swims.
If they can fit it in a contact lens, they can make it smaller than that.
Yeah. They can use maybe the controller here and the battery in the other side to balance the size of whatever.
Yeah, the glasses thing look like there's a mirror on one side, so it's projecting over here, and
You
the
can
mirror.
see the shark behind you.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's works how some of those old some of those old lenses worked, where it's actually a mirror. The image is actually backwards in the mirror.
You have your projections here, and you have a couple of mirrors too.
Yeah. That's the way that one. That's the way that looks like it works. Where the contact lenses look like it's right
there. But I think in the future you can put the technology of the contact lens in the glass of the goggle.
Yeah.
Itself.
Well, yeah, she's holding it right there in front of her, so why not? Why can't you do that?
I used to check this in the BBC News, the text tab. Sometimes it's interesting. I think that there are better places to look at, but I used to use this for international news. And
That's kind of cool. Anybody want to see my junk today?
Yeah.
what's that? Scooby-Doo
Yeah, this is moving on.
RB.
I don't know if this is charged up.
I thought that this was the keyboard to program the.
This is supposed to be. It's got a little Raspberry Pi in
This
it.
is another Kickstarter.
It was a Kickstarter.
Okay.
I haven't really messed with this much, but it's supposed to. You could hold cards out in front of it, and it'll follow the cards around and stuff like that.
It has a camera here in the
Yep.
front.
Yeah, there's a Raspberry Pi camera, Raspberry Pi Zero, 0W, and the driver board.
Yeah, looks nice.
And then it's got all the software
There's
and
a caster
everything.
wheel somewhere.
Not really.
Okay, a couple of
Round
round.
nubby things. I'm a little disappointed buy it.
What,
Because there was a
what
big-
they promise us?
Do I?
What changed from what they offer and what you get?
Well, now actually, what they offered is what I got. It's
A development platform or something?
a little.
You can do stuff with it.
Yeah, it's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be, and they had it on a big map with street signs and stuff working. And of course, you don't get the map. That's
It has sensors,
Yeah.
line sensors.
line sensors. It's got a ton of software in it. And it's an educational thing. They tried to guide you step by step, train it to learn new machine stuff,
Machine learning.
machine learning. And by the end of it, you're supposed to be able to drive it on the map. But I don't have a map, so I didn't really bring that to show off. I brought it because
So the map is just a line in the
no,
in
it's
cardboard?
it's like a part of it's like a train. You know the
the track of the train
HO
track.
scale,
Uh-huh.
not HO.
But it's a draw, right?
Yeah,
With lines, maybe used for count distance or something. How many slabs? How you call the stabs or slabs?
yeah.
The piece of wood that is across the.
Like yeah.
It's Lego size, but it's close. Probably annoyingly close. It won't quite snap.
I think that is Lego
Is it
size.
Lego size?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually they do that.
If I can step on it, I can tell. Ow! Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think that's Lego size. I think that was part of the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's marketed towards the younger crowd, which is probably why I'm not as.
Into it.
It's been sitting on my desk for.
Well, I have a roll-up mat that had roads and stuff on it to play with cars.
Yeah.
I don't know that we still have it.
Theirs was. It was more like a train, like one of the big train display kind of deals, and it was more or less to scale of that. And I can't really figure out what scale it actually was because that's not a train scale.
No,
That's at
no.
Yeah, that'd be G scale.
that's at its own scale.
I mean,
I think G is the closest I figured that it might
yeah,
be.
because the locomotives are about this long, and that's still not scale.
The weirdest thing about this one though was they had a couple of Lego people. The Lego people were just as tall as the car, and I'm like, that's an awful tight fit. I mean, if the people had to get in the car, that's an awful tight fit. So,
You can open this.
in theory, I haven't been able to open that
I
one.
better don't try.
You got the chargers right there, but the USB ports for the Raspberry Pi. So I guess you can get to them if you
A
really
little
want
bit.
to. But
This is the remote control.
no,
This is the camera.
this is a camera.
I bought a manual pick and place machine there a year ago. It uses Raspberry Pis. And it's got a camera, and so it zooms in and you can see it. That's kind of cool. The old project somebody did.
Oh, off of Kickstarter.
I don't know if they launched there or not. Let's not worry about it.
Okay. I buy into a lot of this stuff off of Kickstarter. Sometimes it's not as good as I want it to be.
There's an anti-snoring thing that's caught my eye there.
An anti-snoring thing.
Yes, it's supposed to adjust, blow up like a balloon inside your pillow just a little bit to change the angle.
So like
Okay.
the tennis ball in the back of the pajamas.
Maybe. I mean, it looks like it's yay big, and it can probably get that tall. Or
I seriously doubt if that would work with me.
I don't know that.
Anyway, this is an artificially intelligent camera. And that's just bizarre. 100% sure that you are this. 100% sure.
Oh,
So
I see the resemblance.
There's white.
So anyway, I brought some stuff that I trained it to. I'll toss some stuff. There it is. It identifies this USB stick as being a battery, which sort of makes sense because it sort of resembles the battery that I trained it to. It sees this as the little car. It knows that this is its microcontroller. So we can. It'll give a number of what it thinks,
Okay.
and
Confidence.
then it will tell another number.
But
Like-
you training showing the different cars or
Yeah. So to train this thing, you load up different software. This is the recognition software that's on it. The training software, you take 35, 40 pictures of different things and send it off to the website, to a website somewhere, and
It crunches it and gives back
they
the results.
extract the parameters
and they crunch it and. Now the one thing that that I want to be able to say, like, instead of number 3, my training said it's number 3. I want it to say, battery or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But that's just a matter of going in and changing the software because.
It's repeatable.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I consistently got 3 on the car, but I got 2 on the controller and the thumb drive.
well, depending on
Both.
what he sent as a picture of this to the web page.
The thumb
Oh.
drive should have been a 1, and the controller.
I was pretty far away from it.
You must use it in a simple environments with several objects
Yeah.
and
That's
to
cool.
avoid confusions or something like that.
I wonder if it could
But
identify
I
the
think
difference.
Steve is also the car, so
Steve's a type 2.
that's the car.
And you are a car.
Blue. Blue and white.
Type 2.
How many objects do you have in?
I only have 4 objects in there right now, so I only did it to see what I needed to do to how it worked. I'm actually pretty impressed with that little camera.
Type 3.
I'd like to see when it's accurate enough to tell the difference between my dog and the neighbor's dog and unlock the
yeah.
doggy door.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, it's coming.
Yeah.
It won't be too far.
I'm waiting for that.
In fact, it may already be here.
Yeah. I have to add, I don't want to have to send 200 pictures of my dog to some other site.
To have it, you
Yeah.
can actually train this. You can train this camera yourself.
locally.
Yeah, as long as you got the software to do it.
Mhm.
A training set apparently takes a while to compile, though, even with a good computer.
Speaking of good computers, how are your pieces going?
Very well.
Huh?
It's going to be the subject of the next Linux meeting. It's working almost perfectly. The only thing I haven't got working right so far is PCI pass-through, where one of the VMs can talk directly to the video card and the keyboard and mouse, so I can use it as my desktop computer and watch Netflix. Because using it with the Spice server that's in there, which is kind of like Windows Remote Desktop,
I cannot see the size of the.
Netflix. I've tried.
Oh, geez.
It's not
I
good
cannot
enough.
see the size of the letters, you know.
But
Oh yeah, they're too
you can use
small.
a Raspberry Pi as a Spice client really gracefully
We could
And
probably
I
go
can
into
go
the Python
Raspberry
script and
Pi
change that.
to easily automatically set up a VPN to my house, because I've got a known IP address, so I can take a micro SD card to anywhere I can find a Raspberry Pi, plug it in, and connect home. And here's my desktop at home, and I can have it do things. And so from that perspective, it's very sweet.
You can't see the text.
Too small. Yeah.
No, it was kind
Sorry.
of close for me.
Well,
Not with
I'm
glasses
just
on.
I'm using the software provided, the example software.
Mhm.
So it's a Python script. So you could go in there and change it the way you want it to be.
It's running Python.
It's running Python.
What's the processor in there?
It's one of those Kindle 220 or 210s. It's one of the TensorFlow processor, onboard TensorFlow thingamabobs.
That's
It's a
Impressive.
it's a fairly impressive thingamabob. And what was that? $23 for that little camera?
oh.
I think that's what I spent on that camera.
And does it show up as a USB serial device? Okay, so I can get text out of it that says, "Yeah, we just saw the dog." Cool.
So the
Oh, and it's got a battery in it.
it does have a battery. Your software's on that. You can load it up just like that and reboot the camera. You could plug it in to the USB and control it through MicroPython serial port
Okay.
interface. It's got a I2C connector on it, so if you wanted to talk to another processor or whatever, you can just do it. It's got, I think there's a temperature sensor and a microphone built into it as well. So, because it gets a little toasty, and then it's got a LED flashlight, so that in a dark environment you can even.
It's from the people from M5.
M5 made this. There's two different versions of this now. There's one, there's this one, and then there's one that it's cheaper. It's missing the screen, it's missing the battery, it's missing something else, but it's a lot cheaper.
They have a mark identification like the Rucos or something like that.
This should already be here then. What you're seeing there, you already have the stuff to
Yeah,
do it.
we could program a Rucos or whatever. It's a fairly impressive.
That has more processor power.
Really?
Yeah. Than your phone?
Your phone is a very generalized processor.
These are very specialized. Oh, okay. That's what Apple will have. They'll have one of these processors built into there, and they'll sell it. I get you.
This was a Kickstarter. This is a artificial. It's got one of the Kindle processor, TensorFlow processor, but they did a little bit more. There's another processor. There's a bigger screen. They've got software loaded up on this so that they've got models on it. But what I've found is the models aren't as great as they could be. There's no documentation for this yet, which is driving me nuts. But
From DF Robot?
yeah,
That kind of surprises me.
they're trying to get them all out into the hands before they document it, which
And they're trying to get those hands to write the documentation.
I think they're doing it backwards, but so
And
yeah,
here's my thing. You pay DF robot prices?
I do.
Wow. They
Okay.
ain't cheap.
Okay,
I
so
looked at their stuff.
I got in on the early bird special.
Mhm.
It's like $16 for the standard version.
So the Google
I went
Translation.
ahead and paid another
Google Translation
30
is
some odd
the
dollars
real-time
for a second standard
translation.
version.
Okay.
They sent me one camera.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me the pro version. I paid $72 all
Mhm.
total,
What
shipping
you
and
doing?
everything.
You just
They sent me
viewing
the
that.
pro version.
Yeah, this is.
I emailed them and said, "You did send me what I ordered."
Espanol.
They emailed
Ah,
me and
see?
said, "You're
Well,
right.
yeah.
Keep the pro version, and
They
we've
had,
got the two cameras that you
the-
did order in the mail
Oh,
already
yeah.
to
with the
you."
same background and
Yeah.
everything.
I'm
That's
like,
neat.
Okay, fine.
so I got a free pro version, which I don't know what.
So
The
you see
lens
what I'm
is the
saying? The
biggest
next
difference, I
step
think.
for this is
But-
why isn't it there?
And I've got
They
the
say
two
that
standard
the
versions
contact lens is for
somewhere
this technology.
between China
just to
and here.
See all
Explain it to
the
me.
all the bands and everything
So,
in the language that you want.
Did I pay DF robot
When you're
prices?
traveling,
Yes.
you see
Did I
signs
get better
and
than
everything's
DF
changed in
robot?
your-
Yes.
Wow.
What would this normally run?
This is $50. This is $50, and the standard version is $39. So
Okay.
So I paid $39 for one of the standard versions, and I paid $19 for one because I got in on the early bird,
Mm-hmm.
or $20 for one. I don't remember,
Something like that.
something like that. Anyway, there's a little thumb wheel drive up here, and it says he's a person. It said, oh, for a second, you're a bird. I don't know why. You're a person. You're a person. You're still a bird. It's very consistent. You look like a bird.
a car or a bird.
Ostrich, I guess.
A flying car, maybe.
There's a bottle. I don't see a bottle. Yeah, it thinks your cup is a bottle.
Close.
Yeah, maybe it got that as the
The
bottle
bottle.
and got it confused.
Yeah, it says that's a bottle as well. But anyway, that it actually says what stuff is. There's object recognition, object tracking, facial recognition, line tracking, color recognition, tag recognition. I have no idea what that one does, and a general settings. So that one does not have a battery in it. So if you unplug it, you're
Tag, maybe this kind of tag.
do what?
This is a tag or this in the tag mode. You tried
maybe,
this?
maybe we could try that.
Yeah.
It was very consistent. You must look like a bird too.
Obviously.
Peacock.
It doesn't lie.
Bird man.
Your laptop is a sofa.
Yeah, I was getting weird stuff like that too.
Oh, and if you turn it sideways, it just gets.
It's very
wrong.
confused.
Yeah. I am curious that cell phone is not in its repertoire.
Oh, really? It picked my cell phone out.
It doesn't even.
It told me it was a monitor, but it saw it. And I kind of looked at it and went, okay, yeah, I guess that's a monitor.
See, it recognized Oreos. That'd be real smart.
Well, I think their data set is pretty small on that or something. Cause see if I'm a bird.
No, my phone is a bird.
Your phone is a bird.
It's contagious.
Wait,
Anything you
I
touch.
swear it went to cat for a moment. No, it's consistent on bird now.
really has an avian fixation.
Yeah.
It does right now. That's the first time I've seen birds.
Doesn't think much of them.
Um,
Yeah, I'm curious how many
Okay,
things
this
are
is
in
getting
it.
a car.
Okay.
It's
I mean-
for a car.
It's for a car.
It's-
something associated with a car.
it's
Do
Close.
they give you any information about how many things it can recognize? Is it trainable? Can you teach it new things?
It's a thumping monitor, tire monitor.
it is actually trainable, but how do we do it? I'm guessing because it's using the same TensorFlow chip that this one is. It's going to be a very similar kind of training process where you take pictures
It's a
and
book.
load them up on an
It's a
SD
model.
card and
Yeah.
Potted
ship them off
plant.
somewhere and have them.
Okay. Is there
I have
potted plant
issues
on
with
there?
that.
Potted plant.
I would
Potted
pay
plant.
more for a
Candy.
thing that is complete. I really hate paying subscription prices.
This isn't a subscription.
Well,
This
Yeah,
is just
it
a
is
free.
if you wanted to recognize something different in a week. You've got to go back to them and send them more pictures and
Okay, but they're still doing it for nothing.
yeah, for now.
It's true, but you can download the software to do it yourself.
TV monitor. Oh, okay. Now
See, I
the
might.
outlet was a dog or a cat. Yeah, dog or a cat. Electrical outlet is dog or cat.
Huh.
Pretty close.
Well, it does sort of have a face, sort
Yeah. It's got 4 legs, kind of.
It's for me, it was just more convenient than downloading the software and trying to learn how to
TV
make
monitor?
the software work.
Monitor, yeah, TV monitor.
Yeah. It's kind of got it.
For the cost of it, though, you kind of expect it to be more accurate than he's a bird.
Chair.
Chair. All right.
Especially when you can buy something that's very, very similar for
This is,
about half that.
First thing I did with vision recognition systems was at Amold Corporation, and we had very tightly constrained things. It had to recognize the difference between the 6 or 8 rims that we were making that day. But we got up to 99.999% recognition
Oh.
Right.
without any issues. But that took it's been a while. That was a Pentium
This
2
is a car.
with a 640
A
by
car?
480
Okay.
camera.
Person.
That was current.
That was it.
Car.
See, it should be a lot better.
Built one time what was a monster system, I couldn't tell you the specs, to translate the tiger census data into maps.
Mm-hmm.
Or another format. It did the whole country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Car.
Well, that sort of makes sense. That's a car.
Let's see a picture of this. Okay.
It was telling me my laptop was a
It's a car.
laptop and stuff like that.
Car.
It's. I think
Motor.
after they get everything shipped out and they sit and work on the software because it's updatable,
Mhm.
I think we'll get a new firmware update for it. Hopefully, it'll be better. than-
Motor.
My kid downloaded, I think it's an Aegis or Aegis map set. You can download it from the government.
Now we should have had this on the meeting announcements and put it on Meetup. We'd have had some people here for
Just
that.
for this
Well, I can bring it back.
Okay.
All of the
Bring it
house
back next week.
specs.
Maybe I might actually know more next week.
Um,
I don't know anything.
Put some picture in the meeting announcements and I'll get it up on
This
the
corner of Ohio.
on the Meetup,
Indiana
and
specs.
we'll have some people
And it's
here.
all tied
I don't know.
Guaranteed
I don't know
3D
anything,
map.
Jim. You.
That works.
Walk around.
That works fine. And we
Got
keep
3D
that,
map.
that's how we work this game. We bring stuff in, they ask questions, we don't know. Can you help us? Like this vendor. Hey, send some programs in.
Let's see. Let's see if this is a tag. That says it. This box is a car, apparently.
Yeah, well,
Um.
kind of guessed that.
Let's see. Line tracking, color recognition, tag. Let's see what tag does. I don't know what tag will do. No. No. I don't know what tag is. I don't really know what a tag is. So, anyhow, that's that.
And send you
And-
can do a screen capture of your converter software
That's okay.
and to get people in.
You wanna to send you something or what?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I must have gone full crazy because not only did I spend money at DF Robot, I also spent money at Adafruit.
Ah.
So I must have gone full on. Oh, and
Yeah.
this one isn't pulling enough power
That's a good one.
To
Send me
stay
that.
running.
to stay running.
Did somebody here say they knew the smartphone people?
Yeah, and there's the
Maybe
camera.
on.
We'll do that for next. Send me that, and I'll put that.
I don't know.
Somebody was telling me they
We-
met her, and they didn't care for him.
Oh.
I would have expected to have been someone here.
Could have been Ray. Ray might know him.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, the guy who was here the other day with the robots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him. That's who it was. He's like, well, I love to buy stuff in big quantities. And then, like, in the same paragraph, he goes, I'm so glad I got rid of all that stuff. Like, okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
This one here is it's a board from Adafruit, and it's like a $35 board. It's got a little microphone on it. It's can run TensorFlow Lite, but I have
Mario.
Super Mario running on it right now. So this is the one where Lady Ada has demoed it many times on YouTube and whatever, where she's saying yes and no, and it says yes or no up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
It's the same board. So the yes and no part is the part that it learns with a little help, and it does actually work because it was learning how the 4-year-old was saying yes, and for a while it kept putting up no, and then all of a sudden it started going, she's saying yes. So
if you hook a speaker up to it, and when it hears yes, it says no, then you can have them argue.
actually one of the models that
It's a feminine thing.
yeah, one of the models they've got, because it wasn't working for me for a while, and one of the models that it has will replay what you say to it. So that
Oh, really?
I was
Okay.
testing it because I could not get it to work.
Yes.
I was like, it was working with their demo code, but it wasn't working when I loaded the code on it from the Arduino IDE. I found out that it's because in order for to do the voice recognition, it needs to be overclocked and some extra memory and whatever's going on in it. But for a while, I was able to say something and it would say it right back through that little tinny crappy speaker.
That's hilarious.
This is the buzzer.
Yeah, that's a little tiny crappy buzzer. I was actually playing Mario at 240 megahertz. It even to emulate the NES, it had to be way overclocked to emulate
Really?
an 8-bit system. Yeah.
What's the microcontroller? Sam something?
It's a Sam 51. They call it the Arcadia.
We have a lot of kids don't have access to stuff like this, and it would just be tremendous aid to them to be able to see something like this. You can set some kids up to be robot maniacs, much like yourself.
I'm a
I
robot.
offered the high school a bunch of dev kits with the robot club came by. They wouldn't take them.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted the specific parts that they already were planning to use for their project. But I had a bunch of dev boards.
Anyway, I can't. If you guys want to see this, I guess I could unplug it and pass it around. But what fun is that?
It's good.
That's fine.
That's what I got though.
Cool. Cool stuff. Do a little write-up and send it out, and people that don't have access to stuff like this would have a duck. We pretty much have a duck. That's some good stuff.
There is about $400 worth of crap sitting on this table.
We should do it one meeting at a time. Specialize in one meeting.
Well,
do this.
almost everything that's sitting on this table is all evolved around artificial intelligence and vision systems. Really.
Okay. We can do the artificial intelligence and vision system series for people who are interested in that. And there are tons of them. They would kill to see some of this stuff. Some not so much. Some would rather see the Oreos, like myself. But
Oreos are fine things.
yeah.
Do they sell little packs of the golden Oreos? 'Cause
I'm just impressed that if that board is programmable with the Arduino IDE, and I mean it's easy to use. It's just it's got a little tiny USB drive that shows up. It's like a 2 meg USB drive that you can drop your ROMs onto. And
Did you use MicroPython?
yeah. Well, not now. I erased MicroPython.
Yeah.
I killed MicroPython.
It has a microphone.
You know, it was MicroPython or NES or Mario. Mario.
That's deliberate.
I could put
How much
MicroPython
is
back
this?
on. 35. It's just a matter of when the drive shows back up, you just drag MicroPython back over and kill the NES emulator, and when it reboots, it's got MicroPython back on. That one, I mean, it's programmable with the Arduino IDE, but there were probably 100 different libraries that needed to be loaded. Just an endless amount of libraries, and if you miss one, things don't work. And then I don't know if their documentation is old or if I just missed it somewhere, but I did eventually find where it said that I had to set the overclock the CPU and set something else up to get the yes/no thing to actually work.
But I think you can use the ITZBC.
Do I?
ITZBC the Metro something.
Yeah.
From them, I have the ITZBC that is like a Nano with the same microcontroller.
Yeah.
We've been looking at using Chef to turn a vanilla Linux
Is the only
development of actual product by putting all of the millions of dependencies on them.
I have some communication with Lady Ada about this
Yeah,
because
fine.
I was one of the first to use it.
Yeah.
And then problem is she said okay that and both corrected the
I haven't
problem
used either.
at the end.
Yeah.
because they have swapped a
I
couple
may
of
be able to
pins.
create a new root file
But what's
system.
the only time
People
I
patch things.
check this
Mhm.
with her.
And
Lady
I
Ada,
can't
she,
building them.
she's really good about her customer service.
Yeah.
I have,
I told her this, wow, amazing how fast. It's like she was online, like you
It
want me.
started with
Yeah.
Okay, I found that it says
Yeah,
okay.
I
Oh, thank you.
distributed it with the
And she updated the information in
So
the.
it's not really a mainstream distro.
I had-
There's not a package manager on it.
Oh, really?
I had
None
a,
at all?
I had a problem with another project of her or another board, and I went into GitHub and I said, "This is the problem,"
So, yeah, we gotta
and
put,
in about 5
we
minutes
compile all
she
the
said,
packages and then install
"Oh,
them.
you're right. This is what you do to fix it." And then about hour or so later, it was corrected in the GitHub repository. It's like amazing customer service. Adafruit. You pay more for their stuff, but she's online like 99% of the time, like the rest of us weirdos.
Uh-huh.
So when there's a problem, she answers pretty darn fast.
Art is still in town. He's got a cold. Him and his wife got a cold. So he's missed all this.
Yeah, Art might
Yeah.
actually like this stuff.
stuff.
I can bring it back next week if you think that would be good.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I
think
might
it'd be
actually
good.
know something.
Yeah, if we could put something up that I could put on Meetup for them. We could. Kids would love to see this, and some adulters too.
Maybe we could actually. Well, I don't know. Maybe we could actually train it to do something special.
Vicente's sent me a picture from object recognition for the black one with the two horns on it. It says bottle. He sent me that.
It says bottle.
Put that on Meetup.
It says bottle.
Yep.
That is a bottle. It was right.
Put that
Not a
on-
bird.
Not a bird.
See, without documentation, I mean, how do you tell it it's wrong? You're wrong. It's just wrong. You're a person, not a bird.
A lot of people would want to know where they could get one of these and just be able to play with it. So you want to do that one next week, or which one you want to do next week?
Whatever you think. I probably would rather do this one because it's documented better.
Okay, send me a picture that would. This would draw people. Send me a picture that would draw people using that one, and tell me what it is, so I can put it up on Meetup or put it in the meeting announcement too. Because some of the people read
This
that.
one probably would be better just
Looks
because
like a
it's
pencil
documented.
sharpener.
It does. I was shocked and amazed that they sent it in a little film case.
Oh, okay. And then we can go back and redo the others too. We do one a week, and because there are people interested in this stuff. This is hot stuff.
I'm interested in this stuff.
Yeah. Can I do more people like you? Is that a good thing, or I don't know.
I'm just here. Until DF Robot actually has documents for this.
You don't want to show that.
Well,
You
I
can-
mean,
you can pass
we're
it
only
around.
taking some guessing about
Yeah.
what it's doing.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Maybe somebody knows. We may have another crazy person like you in there.
I don't know if
tinkers with
anybody
these
knows
things.
anything.
Yeah, you never know. But we got some interesting people around here.
I do actually see on the Kickstarter, on the Kickstarter project, people asking, "Where's the documentation? Where's the documentation?" I think people want to use that camera. It's a nice camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's roughly the same size as those Pixie cams. You remember those Pixie cams? It's roughly the same size as a Pixie cam, and it's got a nice monitor on it, or a nice screen.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
And it comes with mounting stuff, so you could actually mount it.
What's that?
Oh, the screws to actually mount it,
Okay.
and there's actually a mount for it.
Let me take a picture of the package.
There's a mount for it. There's the Grove connector cable for it.
Just put a screw through each ear and nail it to the wall.
This little rubber case that's around it, that was a Kickstarter bonus.
Ah, okay.
That doesn't come with it. This is special. This is,
You gotta print your own.
you can buy them from their shop, but this was special. This was this was something that I actually asked for early in their campaign. I was like, you need a case because the lens, this is just floating. It's just, I'm like, gotta have a way to protect that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like rubber, right? It's
Yeah.
Ninja Flex or something like that.
And they came up with that, and I was like, cool.
They are using the Grove connector also.
Mm-hmm. So,
It's becoming a standard or something.
yeah. Well, DF Robot, I think, aren't they the ones that invented the Grove connectors? But,
They are easy to use. I mean, you can connect and disconnect easily.
that Grove connector apparently can do either I2C or it can do serial out.
Yeah, they have like 4 definitions.
Yeah.
I2C, serial, I/O.
Yeah, but I mean,
This one.
that one on that
Can
camera,
act
you could
serial.
switch
Okay,
it.
okay.
It's in the setting. At least I think that's what it's doing. It's in the settings. Without documentation, it's a little hard to figure out what's actually happening. I know when I plug it in, it shows up as a serial device, but when I actually turn on the serial device, it turns off the camera, which
Really?
didn't make a lick of sense to me. So.
Maybe it just turns off the monitor, which gives you the impression that it turned off.
Well, then you would think you would see something in the serial stream, but I don't see anything.
You gotta tell
I
it to
mean-
send something out the serial stream.
I mean, that's just me thinking, but I would think that if you want to see something on the serial, whatever. I would think you would see something. Maybe that firmware's not quite ready yet. Maybe they need to update that firmware.
They'll do that.
This is right up your So these are custom devices down here, right? They're selling UDP packets, and they're getting over here. And this guy responds. Packets get here, Wireshark shows you him responding. Responses don't get back here.
Okay.
Now, there's this is 16-port hub. There's 13 of these plugged in. 12 of them work, and the one that doesn't work floats around every few days. I'll switch which one the replies don't get back on.
So usually the replies do get back, but one of them.
One of them will totally stop communicating for days, and then it'll start again. And one of the other ones will stop. It's like it's overflowing capacity somehow.
And it's not always the same one that fails to receive.
That is correct. I've seen 3 different ones.
It's just UDP.
It's all UDPs out there.
I had the ones from a
Well,
while ago sitting
This doesn't
up
even
on
leave
my
my
desk.
house.
She
I mean,
finally
this
saw
is since
them.
I don't quit. But I mean, that's all in my house.
That's the greatest thing in the world, Papple.
Take this off.
Suspicious.
She won't eat them.
She
Nobody will eat
maybe
them.
went 4-port router. But it's, I mean, it's
They-
The
She's weird. She's a weird kid. She doesn't like chocolate chips, but she loves her
Yeah,
Oreos.
because when I'm testing VPN and stuff, I like to have the connection outside the door.
When this I will throw it.
And you, for it to work at all, you've gotta have.
I'm planning to go to IKEA to buy several boxes.
Right now, today.
Yeah. The transparent boxes, you know, to put some projects in there.
I need to create a Wireshark plugin to decode my packets.